doubled up
with respect, trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time, that was not my question. My question was simply,
when
you would agree, you would agree that on Let's pull up Exhibit 500, please. 500? 500. Defense Exhibit 500.
Yes, I'd like to see who I lied to.
Sometimes drink whiskey in the mornings, too, right?
Isn't happy hour any time?
You can't say that you carried cocaine in that box?
No, but it looks like it would fit some cocaine. I once gave Marilyn Manson a pill so that he would stop talking so much.
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Okay. Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Did I read that right?
You continue to read them right, yes.
And right after you cut your finger off, right after, I won't give you anything to argue with me yet. Right after you sustained an injury to your finger, right after you sustained an injury to your finger,
Bless
you poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint?
Yeah. We're going to fast forward in time a little bit, Mr. Depp.
Yes, I can feel it.
I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury. I have other uses for your throat.
She and her witnesses will put on even more evidence of the physical abuse she suffered at the hands of Mr. Depp. But that's not the basis for our motion right now, Your Honor. He talks about how Mr. Depp had a sworn denial, and that should count. We read his testimony. He claims he didn't strike her. But again, that's not the basis for our motion. The basis for our motion is the clear and undisputed evidence of non-physical abuse. By his definitions, by his standards, by the standards of his expert, there is no dispute that Mr. Depp abused Amber. And therefore, if he did it even one time, there's no dispute that even under their theory of the case, the implication that they want the jury to draw from the article, which again, I'm not arguing for the purposes of today, because under the legal standard, I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to waste the court's time with that. But even under their standard, the undisputed evidence is that Mr. Depp did commit abuse against Ms. Heard, and therefore that those first two statements were false.
Statements. At the motion to strike at this juncture, I view the evidence in the light most favorable to the plaintiff and reasonable inferences from the evidence to the plaintiff. And if there is a scintilla of evidence that a reasonable juror could weigh, then the matter survives a motion to strike. In this matter, there is evidence in the case that a jury could weigh that the statements were made by the defendant, that the statements were about the plaintiff, that the statement was published, that the statement is false, and the defendant made the statement knowing it to be false, or the defendant made it so recklessly as to amount to a willful disregard for the truth. The weight of that evidence is up to the fact finder, so the motion to strike is denied as to statement 2 and 3. The motion to strike as to statement 1, I'm going to take under advisement because if it's not a stipulation, I'm not sure what it is, but there seems to be an agreement that the tweet of Ms. Heard is part of the plaintiff's evidence, which is not in evidence at this point. So I can't rule on that statement whether or not it is just a tweet or if it's some sort of republication or something. I don't know because I haven't seen it yet. So as to the motion to strike on statement 1, I'm going to take under advisement because ruling on it now, it would be premature because I just don't have that evidence in the case, okay?
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right. Since it's 12:30, we don't want to just...
And when in, was it just Mr. Depp and Amber Heard?
Just Mr. Depp and Amber Heard.
But I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you.
I'ma deck you in the schnoz.
I fucking was hitting you.
Help me! Oh my... My back! Oh, my back!
Next question.
And you were trying to get Mr. Depp out of the house, correct?
What role did you play with respect to the payments ultimately made to me?
And in fact, you're being paid for the time that you're sitting on that witness stand today, aren't you?